Hey, it's Abby, ABI, Abby with an I. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Full Focus Planner, which if you are not super familiar, this is a product by Michael Hyatt, in the company Free to Focus, I believe is the name of the company, or Full Focus. Let me double check this. Full Focus. That makes sense because it's the Full Focus Planner. But fun story about this. My employer at Liberty University, my director, like a little bit above me, his name Dr. Dustin DuBose, he loves Michael Hyatt. I've read the book Free to Focus, which I would highly recommend. It's like about productivity and choosing things that are in your desire zone to focus on. So if it's something outside of your desire zone, it probably shouldn't go in here unless you're writing it down to delegate it to someone else or to decide what else to do with it. But that's a really good book. That's a little bit on that, but if you want to read it Free to Focus, it will really help you to utilize a Full Focus Planner. But if you're just kind of like perusing planner options and you don't really know what kind of planner you're gonna use, if you really care, like this is a video for understanding the Full Focus Planner and just how I've started using it. I just started using it. I'm on my first quarter and I'm a few weeks away from finishing the first quarter. So let's jump right into it. There are a couple different color options. Actually, there's a lot of different color options. This is like an oatmeal one, and it just has the Free to Focus, or sorry, Full Focus on the front. You open it up. I have my little information, so text me, call me, whatever. Content. So right in the front, I have my annual goals. And these are things I've written down that specifically relate to my job because this planner functions most often in my job, but I do use it for things outside of my full-time job. But for example, one of my goals that I have outlined here is to grow as a leader. Here, it's written here. To grow as a leader and pass on expertise to serve our students, I will lead 2 to 4 training and development sessions with student worker teams. And this is something that my boss has given me free reign over, leading training sessions with our student worker teams. But I've just written it down that I'm going to do 2 to 4. And then it has you list out your key motivations here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have to rank them of importance. So like my top motivation for this is gain respect and identity capital, which means that I will gain identity capital for the things that I have taught. If you teach something, it becomes part of how people know you. That's kind of what identity capital refers to, like how people identify you as an individual. It's something that you can earn capital. And then number 2, share about passion points. So the 2 sessions that I'm doing are on LinkedIn and the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which both of these are resources that I've personally done a lot of just research on and wanted to pass on how to utilize the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People teaching, and then how to utilize LinkedIn as the app and the service that it is. And then my last 2 motivations are experiment with leading development activities and give back to the office. And then it has me list next steps. So I put in next steps, and then how I'm going to reward myself. So I was going to post a recap on Instagram and say like, wow, I love my job and leadership, and just kind of have a look back on what I achieved with that. So there's like an empty page. So if you just visualize your goals, you can write in here what that goal is, why you're doing it, how to get started, how you reward yourself, and then you can track, like if it's a habit you're trying to put in place, you can track like how many days you've actually done the habit, which is really fun. That's right in the front. I don't use all the pages because I don't have that many goals. I have more goals than are in here, but I didn't want to write out all the goals. And then you get into the month. So the month, I didn't really use too much, but I have a couple things written down here. And then once you get past the months, it's like the quarters are broken down into this. So I have some important dates listed, but also nothing too detailed here. I'm not really a big planner person, which is why this planner has been like a really cool experience for me on how to use it and how to get the most out of it, because I'm not like naturally a planner person. It kind of lays out things for me that I would have never thought about, like daily ritual. So there's like the morning ritual. So I have get ready, have some quiet time, pack up, head out, commute, and I have like the amount of time that those things take. And then the startup ritual, which is like when I get to work, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to transfer my tasks from the day before and write down my schedule, speak with my coworkers, listen to a good worship song, and start work on one of my big 3 tasks. And a big 3 task is just like my 3 biggest priorities for the day. I'm not going to worry about checking everything off my list, just the 3 biggest things. And if the rest of my list gets time too, that's great. And then there's an area to put your shutdown ritual, which is review the day's tasks, defer to tomorrow what I didn't get done today, and then clean up my desk and reply to any final emails or messages. There's a space for the evening ritual, but all my evenings are different, so I just left that blank. There's a lot in here that you can leave blank, but then there's like the ideal week, so you can block in like when you're going to do your morning, when you want to take your lunch breaks, like what I was doing. And then I have planned in here like church on Sunday and like different things that reoccur every week, no matter what the week is. So that's pretty basic. And then we get into what I would consider the fun stuff. Every single day looks like this. It has the day of the week for 2 pages. There's like a page of just notes and then a page where you can write your schedule and your to-do list, which I think is really cool because you can flip the day and it's like a blank slate on your day. After using this for the past few months, I would say like a month and a half, no, two and a half months, I can show you what a day in the life kind of looks like. Let me try to find like a good example. Oh yeah, this one I went ham on. So I did a lot this day. I have the big 3 tasks that I was given to do. I have my other tasks at work, and then I have my schedule here. So as you can see, I had my morning schedule, startup, focus time. I scheduled in like a 2-hour block of just working on like my focus time, and then counseling. And you can see like I've drawn out little bars to indicate like where that thing like stops in there. I don't know, it just really lays out your day like pretty well, and you can take notes. And this is from like a list sweep that I did where I kind of went through and like caught some things that needed to be reiterated. And then some days are a little bit more chill. Like that day was pretty intense because I had counseling, I had a swim after work scheduled, I had like a lot going on. This day is probably like another example of kind of a more basic day where I have my big 3, I have my schedule, I had things I was planning on doing in the evening, which I also got done but I didn't check off. The fun part about this is if you check off a task, that means it's done. But if you do this little arrow, this is the system that Michael Hyatt teaches, it's like deferred. So you would do it tomorrow, or you would rewrite it on your list tomorrow if that arrow is there. I feel like really leaning into what Michael Hyatt has given me has helped me a lot, because in reading the book Free to Focus, it explains like the best use out of this. And I think some of those biggest things are being intentional with your big 3 tasks. Like pick those 3 things that you know you're gonna like be grateful and proud of yourself for getting done that day, and then keeping your like annual goals on your to-do list. So something like the student worker trainings, I have something related to that almost every day on my to-do list, even though I'm only doing 2 to 4, but I have something like preparing that content or reviewing it, or either I'm preparing the content, reviewing it, or today I sent it to my supervisor just to give like her a little peek at what it looked like. So there's always something towards my bigger goals on my to-do list that's not just the urgent things. And I've also been intentional to schedule in like my workouts. A way that you can really utilize this is to put in like random things. As far as like on the notes page, you can go crazy with like that. So I have like my grocery list here that I like have, and I'll like take the planner and put it in the cart like right here and like go on the grocery list. And it's like go through the grocery store like with my list like in the cart, like it's my little child on the seat. And it's just like great because I can look at it and it's in my planner and I know I did it. It's like centralizing things for me. And then I have notes for like something that I have to do. This is like a conversation that I had with my dad on the phone, and I was taking notes because I really wanted to remember some of the things that he said. Like we were talking about like 5-year plan stuff. So what is it that I want to accomplish in 5 years? What could I accomplish in 5 years? And making that, like keeping your ultimate goal in mind. So he was like saying like research, like do informational interviews, like work up and grow your credentials, like just good career advice. And I wanted to like keep that all, so I have that in here. And it's really fun because at the back of the planner there's space. That's the front of the planner. Oh my gosh, there's a space to like write index. So I have notes on these things, and then I have the page number listed, so I could put like conversation with dad on career stuff and then put the page number. So it's like an analog system, so it's kind of like analog meaning like handwritten. It's kind of like old school in some things, but I think that it really helps you remember because I physically like hand wrote it. So when I look back at it, it doesn't feel like I'm reading someone else's writing. It feels like it's mine, you know, because it's in my handwriting. But one last thing I want to just kind of like touch on here is the weekly preview. So this is what it looks like once you fill it out. This has been one of my favorite things about the planner. It asks you to look back on your week and reflect and note like the certain things that you would consider big or small wins and celebrate those things. What worked, what didn't, what are you going to keep doing, what are you going to stop doing? And then it asks you to look forward to your next week and write out like specific things in that week. So for me, I have my biggest wins were lifting and swimming. So those are my workout routines. Adding in a walk and yoga. And then I said prioritizing time with my people, and I listed out like my friends Sumner and Becca and Lauren and Patty and Brenda and Greta and all my friends that I set intentional time aside to spend with them, because that's easy to just like let it slip your radar. So it's good to celebrate like, oh yeah, I spent time with these people, I care about them. I finished a book called Herding Tigers, which is about leading creative teams, which is something that I want to do one day, and I'm doing in a small sense. I'm a graphic designer at my university that I graduated from, and I'm leading a team of student designers under a senior, like a associate director. So I'm kind of right in the middle. It's like a mid-entry level kind of role, but the Herding Tigers book speaks to leadership in the context of a creative team, which was like really good. I highly recommend it. It just had some good leadership principles, even if you're not like in a creative context. And then I have listed for biggest wins. I'm a designer, so I have that I created 8 t-shirt designs for a project I was working on, and they wanted options, and I made 8, and that was a big win, I felt like. And then step 2, so they ask like, how far did you get on your projects? I said that I got 100% on a few of my projects, like I crossed them off. And then I got about 15% on a new project and didn't quite finish that because I had just finished the other ones. What worked, what didn't? I said what worked is I stayed busy with community and house chores and feeling more mature in the season, like as a young adult. And some things that didn't work is that I ate out a lot and didn't make time to prepare meals. Some other things that did work was journaling and assessing my values and taking time to pray and meditate and adapting documents. And so there are a couple documents I had to adapt from a former format into Canva so that they could be shareable. So that was something that worked, I felt like. Just for my team, we could share them across like each other. And then some things that didn't work is not factoring in enough time to rest at night, because I would come home like really tired from doing things with people, and then I would have to go straight to bed. So I didn't factor in any time to rest. And then another thing that worked is just like doing some chores. Like I cleaned out my car, I cleaned my bathroom, I marinated some chicken the night before that I was gonna make it. So I just kind of felt like competent and strong as an adult. Like I'm doing the things, you know, like marinating my chicken the night before, and just feeling like those things worked well. Okay, and then some things that I decided to, the next question is like keep, improve, or start doing. So then I kind of listed out some things I wanted to continue doing in the following week, which was like implementing collaborative practices in my creative team, reading like a book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, through again and preparing for that training session, and then communicating more with my roommates on house things, like whenever we need something at the house, just communicating with them. So that's my weekly preview, and then it gives you space to write out what's upcoming in the next week. So it has like these days, and I have lunch with Sarah Carter, who I dearly love. I have Galentine's night. This was a while ago. And then like things I wanted to prioritize for how much sleep I wanted to get, how I was going to eat and do meal prep, and then working out, time spent with people that I love, and then the ways that I was going to rest. So that is all I want to share through kind of like how I do my full focus planner. It looks super bare bones, but I think that's the beauty of it, is that the layout gives you a lot of tools. You don't have to create them out of nothing. And it's really fun to just take notes in the notes section and have every day a new blank canvas to write something inspirational. Like on this page, I said, hustle while you wait. And at the end of my days, I want it to be true of me that I walked in compassion, joy, and wisdom, that I was a kind of woman who was dedicated to God and knew how to show his love to everyone around me. I long to be remembered as caring, loyal, and brilliant, faithful, energizing, adventurous, and a welcoming, unifying force of service, a thinker and a doer. I want to have lived a life of courage and ownership. And that's just next to the things I had to do that day. So it's a really cool tool. Thank you, Michael Hyatt, for creating this, and thank you for watching. Happy full focus planning, everybody. Go crush your work day, your school, your life, and let me know how it went. Bye.